It's like, having the angel and the devil on the
Yeah.
shoulders or something, and it's like one side saying, you're gonna feel bad after you've done this. Don't do it. You're gonna feel bad. And I'm sitting there processing, going, yeah, I know I will. The other side's going, but how good and relaxed are you gonna feel? Just think about that. Forget the consequences. Don't worry about the consequences.
Mm.
But unfortunately, that devil doesn't have to deal with the consequences. Stephen, how did you find Carnivore?
Good morning, Dave. And first of all, thank you. This will be my second appearance on your lovely channel. And 8 months ago, I think it was, when I was with you the first time, finishing up a month. And after we did that, I wrote a little song and about it. And I'm not gonna sing it for you as it is 9 a.m., but I'll read the first stanza, and it basically is just to the tune of yesterday. But Carnivore, I found, what did it say? What did I say? I've tried all the diets that exist and more. Nothing worked for me till I explored the proper human diet, carnivore. And that one sums up me. And then the other stanzas, I think, uh, they the other lyrics kind of are a bit of a homage to the people that I've watched on your show and other shows that, you know, uh, put their stories out there and all the anecdotal evidence that's being piled up. But for me, how did I find it? I'm going to go back to my childhood real quick and I want to kind of take a look at the type of diet that led me up to where I am now gonna really head. But so I was born in Kansas, Wichita, USA, youngest of 9 kids, back in the 70s. And so my father worked. My mom was obviously the housekeeper, uh, warden, maybe. But she put food on. She put home cooked meals together every night. We sat around the table, and not a ton of meat, but there was always a bit of meat. And she made her own noodles and dumplings and salads and everything. But carbs, carbs were breads. Carbs were kind of the center. And then into high school, school meals were cooked in the schools. A lot of carbs. Played high school football for 4 years. I remember before games, Friday nights, we'd have the team meals, and there was always a bit of meat. But again, they would tell us carb up, carb up. So it was a lot of pastas and potatoes, starch. And then into college, money was tight, obviously, as most college students are learning how to live on their own and manage that checkbook. But that's where ramen came in, the old ramen or ramen, uh, cheap noodles, carbs, mac and cheese, cheap hot dogs, and beer, and that's empty carbs and obviously sugar. And then after college, I worked television. I worked at a television station for 3 years. And the people I worked with in production, we were all about the same age, and we did a lot of weekend partying. And so I kind of call it the 3B and E, which was barbecue. Now we have money, so we started doing barbecues, but also beer. And then ball, which is football on the weekends, and then excess. So those are the 3 B's and the E. Not good for the body, but we were young, and those were the days, Dave. Those were the days. And then after television, I realized that no news is good news, so I quit that and I moved to the Gambia, West Africa. Was a Peace Corps volunteer, and there very little meat, and meat is a high commodity, and it's basically a form of wealth in the villages. And so a lot of the meals were rice is the main staple there, millet, couscous, and some type of maybe a potato or bitter tomato or something. But and the only protein really is the fish, because there is a river in that country. But they would dry it in the sun and then pound it into dust. So I mean, it was not a savory dish. You know how to make a little go a long way, just like my mom back in the day. She made a little go a long way. And just a real quick memory from growing up in Wichita. Like, again, she was a great cook, but then in the late 70s, early 80s, along come the TV dinner. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they came like a Salisbury steak and potato and veg, served in aluminum foil. and then you microwave it. And then somehow you think, like, as a kid, yeah, I want this over home cooked chicken dumpling salad, whatever was. So the power of because I mean, yeah, I wanted to try it, and in my mind somehow I thought it was good. But so anyways, then after Peace Corps I came back. Well, Peace Corps, yeah, rice and beer. When we meet up with the friends, there's always that beer in the background, Dave. And then I came to Korea. So I've been in Korea for over 20 years. I'm a teacher here at a university. And the Korean food is probably the most diverse that I've had in my life. The traditional food is awesome. A lot of fermented foods. They do like meat a lot of galbi, Korean barbecue, and the chicken restaurants are popping up everywhere. But I mean, again, the main staple is rice, and they like their pastries, and they love their beer. It is a very booze uh, booze centered kind of culture. When you get together for business meetings or school, university kids get together to do whatever. Alcohol is part of the culture here. But so then I've tried all the diets that exist and more. That's not necessarily true, but I have gone through a lot of different cultural diets. And then in Korea, I did go vegetarian for about 3 years. And then I went raw for about 6 months, I think. I really started following David Wolf, went out to Noni Land in Kauai and spent a week with him at a permaculture retreat. And he's a cool dude. He's a very followable, knowledgeable kind of guy. But back then it was like, superfood, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Oh, I need goji berries. I need cacao. I need acai. I need, yeah, what are you selling, dude? I think he even says his moniker is he's the $1 million hippie or something like that, multi-million-dollar hippie. So a lot of smoothies and all that, and I lost weight and I felt pretty good, honestly. But then I moved to the Czech Republic for a very short time to teach, and that was a very meat-centered culture. So the superfoods. I taught economics there, and economically, I didn't make a lot of money. So I basically spent about 6 months there, but that's where I stopped vegetarianism, raw foodism, buying all the superfoods and whatnot. couldn't afford it. And then after 6 months, I moved back to Korea, and I've been here ever since. And back to the meat and carnivore. I mentioned this guy in my first interview with you, and who kind of was the teacher, and his name was Patrick Timpone, who was on OneRadioNetwork.com out of Dripping Springs. He passed away last October, maybe 2 years now. I think it's one. But he dabbled in all kinds of stuff, and he kind of was the first person to push the keto and carnivore out there across my airwaves. And then, you know, I started following him and watching him and the people that he interviewed. Some of them were carnivore, and then I started doing my own research into it and came across, you know, all of the bigger names and yourself as well, Dave. So, and then that was about. I've been on carnivore about a year, but I would say I'm probably 90 to, all right, 85. 85% pretty good carnivore. And then there's that 15% that I'm gonna kick this month. And we can talk about that a little bit later if you want. But so that leads me up to about now. This is November. It's November 1st when we're interviewing, and I was actually pleased that you gave me this date, because it is November 1st and it's the first day of my new plan for November, and they call it Movember or Movember. I don't know how it's Move. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where men grow mustaches.
Yeah,
It's it's
yeah.
it's it's men's health. It's men's health month basically. But dudes are encouraged to grow a mustache to show support, just like, I guess, running a marathon for breast cancer or whatever. I've got a plan for Movember.
What has changed for you that has kept you on this for a year?
Um 85%. So number one, I like meat. I think it tastes good, and you know, to be given the green light by a lot of doctors and people's anecdotes that say this is good. Yeah, I'm going for it, because the vegetarian thing didn't really, you know, again, it's expensive, and you're always hungry, and I don't want to, and you always feel cold, I think, when you're a vegetarian, you know. I always kind of felt cold in the inner body. But I like meat and eggs. I always have. And so what's changed? Dietary, like you know, not going to get too visual or anything, but again, you know, flatulence or movement when you know you're like on a proper the carnivore and not introducing grains or other kind of carbs or veg into it, one and done, you know. It's like, and you're out for the day, and regular, and not you know, not even every day. um Again, clarity and increase in energy. Now, weight loss is one that I've struggled with, because uh it's going to go back to that booze, and that's where my 15% comes in. Is I haven't kicked the alcohol, uh primarily beer, and
Is
that's a
that
lot of
made
fun.
harder because of the culture? Because I know that was quite
Well,
a hard thing for me in Japan.
yeah, I mean, it is, but I live in a small city. It's a new city. It's a very nice city, but I don't have a lot of friends here that I can go out and, you know, have a drink and a chat. But autumn in America is football season, and that's the culture that, when I played, it was awesome, and then I've watched it and been a fan, and the barbecue, the beer is part of it. And so when I'm here in Korea, I'm watching football. Like the Friday night game, I'd be up on Saturday, you know, 9, 10 a.m. watching, and then college games are on Saturday that start around noon to 2, and then so that means I'm up on Sunday morning. About 2 or 4 a.m., pretty much watching. Now, I'm not drinking beer at 4 a.m., okay, Dave? But maybe after the games are done and, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and have a few to celebrate if the teams win. And then obviously the NFL. So that's 3 days of, like I'm a fan and of booze. I mean, of football. But so that's one thing I'm going to kick for Movember. That's one of the plans. And I've got a plan to do it, and part of it
Yeah.
uh, is I started a YouTube channel about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm gonna kickstart it today. I've got a couple classes to teach, but then I'm gonna record my first video and dip my toe into the water, and it's not gonna be just about kicking booze. First, I'm gonna start out not carnivore. I'm going to do a 10-day fast. I'm going to do a 10-day water fast, and that's starting now. So cheers, Dave. So November 1st, from November 1st to November 10th, I'm going to do a water fast and clean out the system. And I've done fasts in the past. I've done, I think, a 20 or 22-day fast last year, and was really digging it at the end. The only reason I ended it was an anniversary came up with my wife. But I think 10 days is a good amount of time to kind of get over the hunger pang area and get into that boost of energy and clarity and autophagy, um, and ketosis that the body knows and loves. So after the 10-day, so I'm going to drop obviously alcohol for all of November and hopefully, more. Uh, Vape, I do a little vaping, and I'm going to end that too. I've never been a cigarette smoker per se, but the vaping thing kind of was, I sit at my computer a lot as I am a self-publisher as well as a teacher. So that's kind of, it gives you that oral fixation to kind of keep going sometimes, Some people chew on pencils or twirl their hair. I don't know. So I'm going to drop the alcohol, the vaping, and food for food for 10 days and the other two for 30 days at least, if not more. And then, so obviously when you drop, and then after 10 days, I'm going to go full straight carnivore, beef, butter, bacon, eggs until the end of November. And that will give me like kind of clean the house and then reboot the system properly for 20 days. And hopefully, if I'm feeling great, I'm going to extend it, obviously, maybe 60 days, 90 days. When you get rid of a lot of stuff, you got a lot of time on your hands. So what would you do with it? Here in Korea, they have a sauna culture. In Japan, it's an onsen. Is that right? So they have jimjilbang here. And now that it's November and it's getting cooler, I'm gonna start hitting the sauna. Great way to sweat. Do you like the sauna, Dave? Do you go and do the onsen?
I don't. I'm not a fan of getting really, really hot. So yeah.
Or it's like a big bread oven or an pizza oven. You get in there, and I dig the sweating, man. It's like I really just like, that's some hardcore, just you know, the impurities are pouring out. I mean, you're losing a lot of water. You have to keep hydrated, but when you finish, man, you feel like $1 million, honestly. Not 1,000,000 won, but $1 million American, which is a lot more than 1,000,000 won, which is about $1,000. I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to join the gym today. Obviously doing a lot of hikes because my YouTube channel is called A Walker, which is my last name, Walker in the Woods. So the original idea was to get out and do hikes with GoPro and show people Korea and culture and talk about it, but I've never done it. So I'm going to hopefully start getting that done. And then last year, my wife bought me this, Dave, and this is it's called InBody. Do you know what that is? So you step on it with bare feet, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, and then you hold on to this, so your thumbs, and so what this does, what that thing does, it here's the list. InBody Fit. So it has a fit score that compares you to others that use it. I think there are about, I don't remember how many. I have it on my phone, but it gives you your weight, your BMI, your skeletal muscle mass, soft lean mass, basal metabolic rate, percent body fat mass, visceral fat level, and waist hip ratio. About
That's
10
pretty
things.
cool.
Now, is it 100% accurate? No. Is it close? Yes, I think so. They have one in a gym that I go to, and I think it's similar, but this is the do it at yourself, do it at home yourself kind of thing. So, and then there's an app on the phone, and I'll just show you real quick. Click on that. And so right now my fit score is 770. I don't know how, I haven't used it in a while actually. But then it goes through right now, and this is this morning, I'm 98.6 kilo, Dave. All right, that's the big data. And so I'm going to share, there are 10 different aspects of this InFit thing, and I'm going to share it on my channel daily. So as I go through the 10-day fast, as I go through carnivore, we'll see what happens at the end of 30 days, going from 98.6 kilo and fat ratio and whatnot, and see what kind of effect that the fasting, number one, and then carnivore, number two, has on me. I'm doing it for science, Dave, for Movember, for Men's Health Month.
Nice. So are you hoping, like, you're hoping this will continue?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm 53. I was born in 71. So I think I'm 53, 52. I can't remember. I'm a right brain dude. I think I'm 53. And so, all good things must pass, as George Harrison used to sing. It's like, you got to turn a corner sometimes. And now, will I say I'll never have a beer again? Will I say, will I never? No, never say never. Obviously, if I want one, I'll probably have one. But for this month, at least, I'm going 100% because, and the only way to keep me honest is to actually put it up on a channel. I'm not necessarily looking to like score hundreds of subscribers or anything. I think I have like 19. And I've only got one. I put one video up 3 years ago, and then I put that song up about carnivore, And I think your interview, and I have another. So I have 4 videos on my channel, and so uh, by the time you get this uploaded, hopefully I'll have my first one uploaded as well. And I plan to do it every day, at least for the fast, and then maybe carnivore once a week. I don't know. I don't know how much. I don't want to. I don't want to do a long one. I want to keep it short and sweet. I respect other people's time, and if anyone even watches it, I don't know, but that's the plan.
Awesome.
Mo- it'll motivate me, keep me and keep me honest. That's one of the main reasons why I'm going to do it, because I do
Yeah,
want I want to turn the corner, honestly, and see
I
how I
think it's
feel.
important for that, you know. I think it really is important to be doing something like that to it's just that extra motivation to keep you on track, right?
Yeah, because I'm like I said, I live in a small city. I don't have a lot of close friends here. I'm married and I have 2 cats. The wife works a lot, and I work, and then I'm home with the cats. The cats aren't going to keep me on the straight and narrow, Dave. I have no kids, and what do they say? Idle time is the devil's workshop, or something like that. So I need to find a way to keep myself in check and motivated. And yeah, if you have any advice, Dave, I mean, obviously you said you kicked booze, and I think you said that you just started going in different kind of taking different paths home, or changing the habit or the routine, or
Yeah. So I think really the thing for me was firstly was the diet because I feel like this gives you a lot more self-control. Um, but
yeah.
the second thing was, yeah, avoiding anything that was a trigger. So, like you mentioned before, that with the vaping, you'll be doing a lot of work on the computer and that so it's easy to kind of vape while you're looking at whatever you're looking at or working on whatever you're working on.
Yeah.
And I understand that because my thing with that was alcohol and or food, so
Hmm.
I can sit at the computer now happily with water and just be doing my work. But before, I couldn't have sat at the computer without the alcohol or something like that. So, probably one of the things that I would have been doing was trying to avoid that kind of just idle browsing time around the computer.
Yeah.
Unless I was kind of working on something, it was like I can't be near the computer because what I'll be doing is thinking, "Where's my drink?"
Okay. So then how do you fill the time away from the computer? I mean, are you outside taking walks? Are you doing?
No, so this would be, my kind of time in front of the computer would have been when I got home late from work, and so
Okay.
I'd finish work at like 9 o'clock and get home, and then so from I don't know 10:30 until midnight, I'd be sitting in front of the computer. So it
Mhm.
was just this conscious kind of thing of get home from work and just spend my time basically getting ready for bed or preparing for the next day and just avoiding it completely or just checking my email and then going to bed.
Right.
Mm. So yeah, the because a lot of I mean this is most honestly this is probably most prevalent with food for certainly for myself, but a lot of the you don't want the food. It's
It's
You
boredom.
don't really want the alcohol. It's boredom and it's that habit you've built around the thing you're doing.
That's right.
It's I'm going for a walk, so I have to have a cigarette while I'm walking. Or I'm waiting for this thing. So while I'm waiting for this thing, I need to check Facebook or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, I'm watching football on the weekend, and I need, obviously, 4 beers to wash down one game and follow it with a
Right.
barbecue, and, the whole thing. It's the culture. It's culture, it's
Yeah.
habit, and, you know
And
We
it's
are creatures
because
of
you've
habit,
right, and because you've built that habit,
ingrained.
not doing it makes you feel somewhat empty
Yeah,
if you're
especially if
not
you're living alone away from your culture, it's like
right,
that beer kind of is a string that links me to America, once a week.
right.
In the back of my mind somehow it kind of makes it's comfort of, for whatever reason I said that, I don't know, but it's
But
beer is beer, and you don't need
yeah,
beer, or you don't need uh, a donut or a cookie, or whatever makes that comfort, the comfort food they call it. I mean, it's like, so we do
yeah.
associate food very closely with our emotions and our past.
Trouble is, what you've said there is very logical. You don't need it, but at the time, in that moment,
It makes you feel good.
logic, yeah, and you can be.
Emotion
I've
trumps
been in a
logic.
situation where I'm fighting with myself, like it's like having the angel and the devil on the
Yeah.
shoulders or something, and it's like one side saying, "You're gonna feel bad after you've done this. Don't do it. You know you're gonna feel bad." And I'm sitting there processing, going, "Yeah, I know I will." The other side's going, "But how good and relaxed are you gonna feel? Just think about that. Forget the consequences. Don't worry about the consequences."
Mm.
But unfortunately, that devil doesn't have to deal with the consequences.
That's
He doesn't
true.
have to, the devil doesn't have to deal with you putting on weight or, finding out that the alcohol's caused a problem later in life or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true too. But
Yeah.
yeah, number one reason is I want to drop some weight. I
Mm, mm.
I wanna because when I watch a lot of your vids as well, I see people, cutting weight, and I'm like, yeah, I remember when I used to be able to cut weight, fairly easily. But the I have not noticed a significant amount of weight loss. And
Mm.
also, through a fast and also adding meat, uh, protein into the diet, great for the skin. And as we
Right.
get older, Dave, the skin is it's not the high point of, when meeting someone, they're not remarking to me, wow, beautiful skin you have. Yeah, I'm Irish
Right.
and German and European, and I look like a lobster in the summer, and
Right.
Casper in the winter, and
Yep.
but
I'm with you there. But yeah, I think your plan of doing the fast first is probably a good way to go because it's basically like going, okay, let's just get it
yeah,
all out. Let's stop.
yep.
That's it. The body's got to learn to deal with this.
That's called cold
And
turkey, Dave. I mean, big
yeah,
time cold turkey. Just stop and and
yeah,
and flood yourself with water, and that's what
mm,
I am going to do. That's what I am
yeah.
doing. Starting from pretty much last night. Well, yesterday about 4 is when I last ate. I just wasn't hungry enough to eat it any later. So I'm already working on,
You got your first 24 hours coming up then, right?
around 4 o'clock. It's 9:30 here.
Yeah.
So, but and then when I talk to people about fasting, I talk to my students about it, and explaining what it is and how it works, and how you have the white blood cells that, when you eat something and and it goes to your belly, then the white blood cells are going to be in the gut checking it out. And if you eat 3 times a day, those white blood cells are going to be in your gut working on whatever is in your gut all day. But then when you and what do white blood cells do? They help clean up and attack and kill, bacteria, germs, virus, whatever and repair. So then I say, okay, well, a fast, I mean, is when you drink only water and you don't eat, for 3 days. They say 3 days is a magic number. Three is a magic number, but then you have 5 day, 10 day. You have the big boys that go 40, in biblical time, or Gandhi or whatever. And then so I ask my students, do you ever think you can do a fast, or do you do a fast? And they say no. I say, yes, you do. You do a fast. You do it every day. And they say, really? And I say, yes. And then it's like, well, what do you eat? What's the first meal that you eat in a day? And they say breakfast. I say, okay, that's exactly right. You just broke your fast. You fasted throughout the night, you didn't eat, and then you wake up and you break your fast. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it. And so you just extend that to 1 day or 2 days, or even do the OMAD or whatever. But I think the 3 day is what they say is when you want to reset the kind of reboot the body, kind of like a computer. You push the reboot button. 5 day, you get deeper cleanse. 10 day, now you're really getting the autophagy, ketosis, autophagy kind of thing going on. And for people that haven't done it, there's a 3 day window at the beginning. Again, 3 is that magic number where it's going to be like, okay, this is not fun. My tummy is talking to me, and I'm hungry, and water ain't cutting it. And then right about the 2 to 3 day is the hunger pangs go away, and suddenly you feel a burst of energy. And then comes clarity of the mind and visual acuity, or clarity, or visual, it's like the eyesight's sharpened. And it's like, well, why is all that happening? Well, you're starving, and your body is saying it's time to go hunt, and like carnivore, does. It's like the carnivore diet. A lot of the hardcore ones do the feast. They do the feast. They do till they're satiated, and then they don't eat, kind of like a lion. And that's kind of what fasting is. Back in the day, you didn't have a McDonald's. You had to go kill something, and then you feasted, and then your body's designed to fast. And as you get into that 10 day, 7, 8, 1 week, I'm going to be, God willing, Dave, as long as something catastrophic doesn't happen on the peninsula, I will be in the mountains without food probably a few times this week, nearing the end of the fast is when that energy surge comes. And I'll share it on I'll take the GoPro along and show people a bit of Korea. It is a beautiful country and a beautiful area where I am, and then share all of my results as well for anybody that's interested in fasting.
Yeah. Well, nice. So, where can people go to find your channel?
So the name is A Walker in the Woods. A Walker, Stephen Walker in the Woods. And then I think it's Finding a New Path is the subtitle. I think there's 2 Walker in the Woods, but mine is a picture of me in the woods. So fairly easy to figure out which one is which. A Walker in the
Cool.
Woods, and then ... Finding a New Path, and then I'm on top of a mountain. I've got a drone. I did a drone video once a long time ago, and that was about all I've put up so far.
No worries. Well, I'll link to your channel in the show notes. Thanks for coming back on, Stephen, and
Yeah.
I will keep up with your with your updates. I'm looking
All
forward to
right.
seeing how it goes.
Yeah. Two more things, Dave, real quick. Going to keep the end quick. So, I have advice for you. All right. So now I've watched not all, but you know, I would say 85 to 90% of all of your videos that you've done. And primarily, well, where I live as a small town, small city, and then I drive about an hour and a half to work, and then I sleep in my office and I come back. But the commute is long. The commute's long, and so one sometimes one and a half of your videos gets me from A to B. And I would say among all the carnivore channels, I'm going to give you the 2 thumbs up for 2 reasons. And number one is you're a great interviewer. I worked in television 3 years back in Wichita after college, and and reporter and reporting, asking questions and listening. And then these days, most people don't do that anymore. They talk over each other, and then it's just noise. But you are a very good. I mean, and again, I tell my students how to be a good conversationalist. Number one, you have to be a good listener to be able to follow up with questions. So you allow your guests to speak uninterrupted, and then the part two is just part two is the anecdotal stories are extremely valuable and more motivational than a doctor talking about carnivore, in my opinion. Talking about how this works or how this is good. Well, the stories of people overcoming huge issues, health issues, mental issues, emotional, whatever, all of it. So 2 thumbs up for this channel, Dave. And so because you're growing, you're almost at what, 100? Are you 100,000?
I'm about excuse me, about 80,000 now.
80,000. All right. Well, if you want to hit 100,000, Dave, it's time to do one thing, and that's get merch. You got to get some merch, man. You ready? Get some merchandise.
Okay.
And
Right.
I've got an idea
Well,
for you, Dave.
okay.
You want my So I mean it's fairly simple. What is merch? It's a t-shirt or a hat, right? And so, number one, you got to go quality. So a nice cotton shirt that doesn't shrink. And then, I'd go either black or black shirt, white text, or white shirt, black text. Keep it simple. And so on the front, what would you put on there, Dave?
I'm I don't know, picture a steak. I'm interested to hear
No,
your thoughts.
no, it's a question. I'm going to let you do this, Dave. This is your concept.
Okay. How did you find carnivore? Maybe.
Okay, that's it. How did you find carnivore on the front? And then on the back, 2 words, exclamation mark.
Uh,
What is it, Dave?
how did you find carnivore?
And then
I
on the
don't know.
back, what's this
What do I
say?
put?
2 words, exclamation mark. That's
That's
awesome.
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
You're the second person that's mentioned that, and I didn't realize till I was editing a video the other day how many times I say that.
Well, I have listened, like I said, to at least 85, a lot of your videos. I'm captive audience in a car. And you know, it's catchy. It's the what do they call it in the biz? Um it's their hook or their it's there's a word for it, like Shazam or whatever, it's their name mark, something. I can't think of it. But how did you find Carnivore? That's awesome. That's a conversation starter for people that are out wearing it, and it could make you a bit extra quid, man, and boost those sales. And if you do make one, I'll buy the first.
Thank
Or
you.
you can put it on a hat too. How did you find Carnivore? And then that's awesome. And then someone says, "What's awesome?" And you say, "Well, read the question."
I've got to say, what an awesome idea.
It's an awesome idea.
That's
No,
awesome.
no, just say that's awesome, Dave. Not what an. Now you're changing it up, dude. You got to keep consistency.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate it.
All right. Anyways,
Yeah,
I hope. Yeah, you should do it though. Honestly, I would if I
yeah.
were you. If I had 80,000 people listening to me.
Cheers.
All right.
Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll link to your channel, and everyone should definitely check it out and check out your song, because that's an awesome song. And yeah, it deserves a lot more views than it got.
Well, yeah, because of you, Dave, I did get I don't even know how many I have on there. But a real quick little story about that. When I first put it, when I recorded it and put it to video, and I'm not a singer, but then I shared it with you, and you put it on your channel for members, and then so it grew some. And then about a week later, a guy messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, I dig your song. I hope you don't mind. I re-recorded it and put it on my channel." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's fine. It's free. It's lyrics you can." Because hell, I took it from Paul McCartney. You know, I mean, I wrote the song to the Yesterday chords. I just did a parody of the lyrics. So I said, "Yeah, go for it, man." And so I think he got 7, 8 times the amount of views. And then he you can go check him out. He's I think Kansas. No, what is I'm Kansas. Carnivore teacher. I think you interviewed him once, Dave.
Yeah, I think he's got so many more views because Sean Baker saw it and shared it.
Well, he also puts a lot of videos up on his channel, and I have 2. You gotta be more productive. Not a one-hit wonder. I guess I am a one-hit wonder because the carnivore teachers vid went on both Ken Berry and Sean Baker. And Sean Baker did the little short thing where he's eating a steak, and that got a lot. I can't remember the number because I'm right-brained, but that was pretty. It's like, wow, that kind of went viral, I guess, if that's the word, if that's the term, if that's what it went viral in the carnivore community, anyways. And so that was fun to kind of watch it go. But yeah, it
Yeah.
all starts with you obviously shared it, and then therein lies you can see how much of a reach your channel has, by the fact that you took one song from a dude that has one video on his channel, and then it reached hundreds of thousands of views.
Mm. Yeah. But yeah, definitely people should click through and check out your channel.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Dave, for having me on, and keep on doing what you do because it's very valuable.